Hello, welcome to World Changers Church International and the Satellite Church Operations Department. This is an introduction video to budgets and all of the supporting documentation for budgets. So for this tutorial, we're going to go over some basic instructions for preparing your budgets. So we're going to specifically go over budgets and the purchase requisition forms, disbursement forms, credit card authorization forms, cash advances, invoices, and other items that are associated with the monthly budget so that you are aware of what's required. So locate wherever you have all of your template files stored. The Satellite Church Operations Department should have provided you with the training material that you would need. So for our purposes, I'm on a Mac and you may be on a PC or on a Mac. So what you want to do is navigate to your training files folder. Uh, we're going to start with the Satellite Church budget cover sheet and category summary sheet. And of course, it's a template. So let's double click that. The first thing that you're going to see when you open the file is that it opens to the first tab, and it happens to be the budget instructions, which basically give you step-by-step instructions on what to do when preparing your budgets. The monthly checklist actually is, as you're preparing it, this is a good way to follow along to make sure you have every single document that's necessary to submit your monthly budget. There is a budget cover sheet. This is a very important document that accounting, as well as the executive staff and the Satellite Church operations staff, this is what we go by when we're actually looking at your budget. So this is your budget cover sheet. And the next or the second most important sheet is your category summary sheet. So we're going to go through this in part two of actually filling out these two forms. So again, this is an introduction to the actual form. So we're going to minimize the budget document, and we're going to go now into the purchase requisition form. So open that file, and you'll notice that it is a Microsoft Word document. The budget we just looked at was a Microsoft Excel document, so you are going to need to be proficient in Word and Microsoft Excel. So the purchase requisition form is pretty much very self-explanatory. It shows you the different options, whether it's a new request, a replacement order, standard office supplies, and so forth. So there's a place for you to put your vendor information, and down in this section here is where you would fill or complete your information specific to the items you are purchasing. And of course, down here, which is very important, is an explanation of the intended use for the items that you are submitting or requesting. Of course, down here, this is for accounting use only, so you don't actually have to fill this area. So let's minimize that, and let's go to the next document, which would be the disbursement form. Open that file, and it is a Microsoft Excel document. So a disbursement form basically tells accounts payable disperse funds to pay for a specific item or service. So once again, you have company information, department payable to, and so forth. And we'll go in depth as to how to fill out this document. And of course, this is your description area where you would fill out your item or description or service. And this is where you would put the amount, and of course the period cover. We'll go through all of that. And of course, here's your signature area and instructions for accounting as to what should they do with the method of payment. Okay, so let's minimize that. The next sheet that we want to go over is a credit card authorization form. It's also known as a credit card request form. So open that file, and basically what you would see is a credit card usage and release authorization form. Basically, this authorizes a credit card payment on behalf of the satellite church or department, if you will. And we'll go over the basics of how to fill this out. Let's minimize that. And the next item is cash advance forms. This is very, very important. Cash advance forms are basically used for whenever you are requesting monies, um, and you receive a check that's made out to you as an individual. Once you've completed your purchases, this form is used to account for what you've purchased and how you've used that cash. That was, again, made payable to you as an individual. So this is your expense report. Now let's minimize that and go to your deposit sheet form. The deposit sheet form goes along with the cash advance expense form that we just looked at. Now, if you, let's say, receive a cash advance for $200, but you only spend $150, you would use this deposit sheet form, for those monies to be redeposited into your church's account. So again, this is the deposit sheet form, and you would fill this out with the description of what was the cash advance and so forth, and the bank account name. Of course, that's for accounting purposes, but your main concern is this area here, where you would account for whatever monies, whether it's cash or money orders, coins, checks, and so forth, where you would actually account for the monies that are being returned or redeposited. So you're just focusing on this area here, and you would fill out the description here. So again, we'll go through more of how to fill out these forms in our next segment.